What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
A touch of good old humor.
Touch of good old humor
Yeah.
with a bit of a pause for dramatic effect, Terrence.
Is there a pause? Or there might be a lag issue rather than
Is it a lag?
a pause. To me, it was almost immediate.
Oh, to me, there was a short lag.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I think some people have even been saying that our podcast is taking very long to download over Spotify and everything like that.
Oh, is it?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's. Maybe we're producing so much content that they can't. Spotify can't keep up, lah.
Even Spotify is saying slow the fuck down, guys.
Yeah.
No, but the BBC global news thing every day, that one issue, I can't imagine it being an issue with Spotify, lah. Not to say like they are faultless.
Yeah.
But I also have seen certain things pop up. But it's normally just Spotify, lah, right?
Yeah. That people are having issues downloading. But I mean that I guess that's a good thing, lah. It means that we're keeping up with our 3-a-week pace. And everyone's struggling to catch up, lah.
And if they feel like, it's an issue that is downloading too slow, means that they really want to hear it. Like, it's like your favorite food when you have to queue up, you're like, fuck. But if it's something you don't care about, so I guess that's a good thing, lah. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. No, it's not say a good sign that people are waiting.
It's a good sign.
It's a good sign that fuck it. Yeah. But if you are facing issues, let us know in Reddit or Instagram, lah.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
All right.
But how was your past day, Terrence, since our last podcast?
It's been a very busy week.
Yeah.
But this week I think was a very big news week, right? In terms of we had two big discussions on 377A related news. And then now, today is another big discussion. So yeah, it's one of those weeks where there's a lot of things to talk about, lah.
A lot of things to discuss, and it's the 3 Monday, Wednesday, Friday cadence, depending on when this got. No, I believe 3 in a week. So man. We're gonna keep this up as much as we can. Anything to plug? Anything to?
I mean, maybe just a small shout out to people who are listening to the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Because recently we've discovered that Apple has started really, ranking podcasts as well, top podcasts in Singapore, top episodes in Singapore. And proud to say that Yalabat is on both of those charts. So I mean, obviously we'd love to be in the top 50 podcasts in Singapore, but of course it depends on us how regularly we pump out episodes. But the amazing thing is that yesterday I went to check the charts, and our two most recent episodes are both on the top 100 in Singapore.
Top 100 episodes, lah.
Episodes in Singapore, yeah. So it's like we are like how at one point The Weeknd had like 2 or 3 different songs in the Billboard Top 100.
Yeah,
kind of feeling. Yeah, that's how I feel right now, lah. I feel like The Weeknd. Or Drake.
That's true.
Drake,
Are we going to be headlining Lollapalooza?
No, or we're not selling out the National Stadium at any point.
Not yet. Fun fact, I found out that Billie Eilish is the youngest person to ever headline at the National Stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the youngest person.
Wow.
I was surprised. I thought it would have been Justin Bieber.
Maybe he never came to Singapore before he was 20.
Maybe, I guess so, lah. I mean,
or he could have done the indoor stadium. Not very sure.
Yeah, I think he probably did the indoor stadium. Probably did.
Any believers, please let us know.
Believers.
But
cool, man.
So if you listen to this on Apple Podcast, please give us a rating or review. I think that helps out.
Yeah, man. Cool. All right, shall we jump into it, man?
Sure, man. This is big news. I mean, it's not new, but it's big news, lah.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're on WhatsApp or I guess any other messaging platform, sometime yesterday, I believe, you would have gotten a notification from gov.sg informing everyone of the latest measures, latest updates to the measures. So that was sent. Was it gov.sg? Anyway, there was news that on 29th August, which is next Monday,
Yes.
The restrictions on masks will be in its next stage lah. You'll still need to wear masks on public transport and health institutions, but apart from that, you're free to go without masks, man.
Yeah, it's
Right.
more than 2 years since masks were instituted, lah, right?
Yeah,
I think
more
April
than
2020.
2 years, man. More
2
than 2
years.
years.
Big.
Yeah. So I mean, a bunch of things were announced during the press conference, I believe, on Wednesday, August 24th. So first of all, masks no longer needed indoors from August 29th. The easing of safe management measures for visits to hospitals and homes from September 1. I think before it was a lot a lot more difficult, but now from September onwards, 2 visitors will be allowed per patient at bedside time each in hospitals. There's going to be new boosters coming out. Boosters will be recommended for people over 60 and children aged 5 to 11. Then the rest are like travel related. Like non-fully vaccinated travelers can enter Singapore without stay-home notice. Long-term pass holders will not need to apply for entry approval. And COVID vaccination still needed for work pass applications and some renewals. Wow, fuck, that was a lot of technical info. But the biggest thing is the lifting of the mask mandate for indoors.
Yeah, correct. But I mean, before we jump to all the details, what was your most immediate reaction when you... I think it was first announced during the National Day rally, right?
Otherwise known as NDR.
NDR, yes.
Right,
it was first
NDR.
announced on Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Sunday evening. And but I think Lee Hsien Loong basically said that the MMTF would give more details about it, right?
Yeah, correct.
But I mean, do you remember what your initial reaction was when you heard it?
When I heard it on Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was fucking happy lah. I was damn happy because I mean it just feels like it's the next stage to us coming out of this. It is the next stage of us dealing with this as a endemic, right? That's the word, right? Endemic. And I do also appreciate the fact that it's not like Freedom Day in other countries, no mask at all. Because the one benchmark for me is like my mom, she's 70 plus, she has asthma. Whether or not she should go mask free in areas that are crowded, don't know, because she hasn't gotten COVID yet, thankfully. So there's still that. So I like how that they're generally indoors, okay, but certain areas you still use like public transport.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, initially I was like, whoa, that was very soon. Because I do remember at one point during COVID, Lawrence Wong was saying that the mask mandate will be essentially one of the last few things to go. Because it's something, it's easy to implement, and it's something that has been there for a while already, and there's no big need to remove it unless it's like all the danger is really gone. So I was quite surprised, and just because it's a bit it will be a big step forward for the country lah. So I was like, okay, how is it all going to be sorted out? Like do I have to bring my mask with me? Even if I'm not planning to take the public transport or something like that, doesn't mean I still have to bring my mask with me just in case I need to step into a underpass or something. Those underpasses that go through the MRT and all that. Do I need to, like if a taxi driver or private hire driver asks me to wear the mask, do I need to wear it? Those are all questions that were like quickly ran through my mind lah. But yeah lah. The one thing it is we knew it was coming lah. We knew it was coming definitely, because I think the general attitude towards COVID right now in Singapore is much more like everyone's got it already, or everyone's protected against it. So,
but I was quite surprised that this came now lah. It was earlier than expected lah. Yeah.
But you think about it, it was announced. When was it announced? It was announced alongside the repeal of 377A. Before I give you the bad news, here's a little piece of good news to just butter you up first.
That's why. Yeah.
Tactical.
Yeah, so now you can have your indoor meetups to discuss the fall of Singapore's institution of marriage and its definition without masks.
Without masks.
You can gather at restaurants without masks.
And you can see the anger.
Yeah,
you can see the anger on each other's face much more easily, because you don't have to wear a mask anymore.
And you don't need to order a drink first. You can do all that right the moment you sit down.
Correct.
But I know when there was that announcement earlier in the year for the outdoor mask mandate to be lifted on, incidentally, the same date, the same number, 29th March.
Yes.
If I'm not wrong, you had some reservations, right?
I had reservations.
Yeah, but then after that, how did your sentiment evolve?
I think the moment I got COVID and survived and just got through it, I'm like, fuck it already lah. No, I don't say fuck it, but like outdoors, I mean the science really is that outdoors is not that bad lah, right?
Yeah.
You don't really need to wear a mask outdoors. You just need to maintain a certain distance. So yeah, as long as you're careful. And actually I find that the interesting thing is that remember how last time before COVID, when Singaporeans queued up, we'd really be almost like neck to neck, right?
Yeah.
But now I feel people already very, very naturally keep a distance from each other. They don't come closer than half a meter or anything like that, which is pretty good already. I mean, it means that our behavior has shifted to be a bit more conscientious and wary of like not COVID, but even other diseases as well can very easily spread if you're too close to other people.
I mean, and for me, back in 29th March, I know when I heard it, I was like, I'm not going to wear a mask outside. But I was expecting there to be more cases where people don't even wear masks indoors in like malls or something. But to Singaporeans' credit, we are all very law abiding. Like it was very rare that I saw anyone in like a mall not wear a mask, and when they don't, right, it sticks out like a fucking sore thumb.
Yeah, everyone stares at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been pretty good about it, which is, I mean, you can say we're cynical about how Singaporeans behave, but yeah, we're pleasantly surprised, both of us.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe that's why, because of our good behavior, the dear government and overlords are granting us this little carrot, saying because you all behave well, you can take off your mask indoors. Take it off.
Yeah.
But then
and the truth is also like it was starting to get to a point where literally we have to include buying masks as part of your groceries already, because I was I think last month or something, my household finally ran out of masks, and I was like, oh my god, I have to go and buy masks again, just like the good old days, early 2020, when you're going to hunt for masks. That's a throwback activity.
I guess that's the benefit of not having a kid in my household, where I wear a cloth mask. I've been wearing a cloth mask for months already. Yes. I just wash it regularly. Because if I had to buy mask every week or something, that would be it does add up, right? It does add up.
Yeah, it adds up.
But then you brought up something earlier that's where I think it will be tricky about private hire cars, because I can imagine there being some tensions or eventually some videos online about some disagreements in practices. Because there's one thing if the driver asks you to wear the mask. But what if a passenger comes in and the driver himself is okay or herself is okay not wearing mask? Then what happens?
Yeah.
As a passenger, can you ask the driver to use the mask?
Yeah. And I think, there was already sightings of the unfortunately named MBS badge lady. The lady who MBS refused to wear a mask and was asking for the social distancing ambassador's identification and all.
Yeah.
Apparently, she was seen again indoors without a mask. Some would say that she's ahead of the curve, she already knew all this was happening, and then they say the plot twist is that she's going to start wearing masks indoors.
She'll go to public transport. She'll go to hospital. Oh, you're saying where you don't need to wear masks, she will just go against the grain,
Yeah, she will wear masks. Yeah,
she's like the oracle, Maybe she lives in a world that's 1 year ahead.
Exactly, she's from the future, basically.
Yeah, she's from the future.
But I mean, the one thing I did also, I mean, because today's 26th August, Friday. Literally next Monday, this mask thing's gonna be lifted. I think I've come to realize that I think I'm better looking when I have the mask on. In terms of the overall total package. Like when you cover my nose and my mouth, basically if you cover 60% of my face, I look better. So that's one thing I feel like I'm going to miss, like, the fact that I look cooler and then like you don't see all the imperfections, the bad skin, the blackheads on my nose, and the fact I never shave, and the fact my chin is not very well defined, all that goes away when I don't wear my mask.
And how did you come to that realization?
I think maybe it was when we were at Google that day. And then when you're meeting a lot of people for the first time, then you only see the eyes, right?
Yeah.
So you your mind kind of has to make that computation of how the rest of the face looks like,
Yeah.
And sometimes when people remove the mask to eat lunch, then you're like, oh fuck, like they look totally different from what I expected them to look like. Like the mouth is so different. Then I realized, that's probably the case for me as well, Everyone probably looks at me like my eyes are, a certain shape and everything, and then when they see the bottom half of the face, like, whoa, fuck,
So
I realized
you got a happy face. I mean, you smile, you got a happy face.
But I'm one of those with the slightly recessed chin also, you see. The chin is not as prominent. So definitely the mask makes it, hides that fact. And so I'm like, everyone's just going to be, you're going to see their full faces from the start. So that air of mystery around them is no longer going to be around. Sad to say for me also. So I'm going to have to start shaving every day without fail again.
I mean, I'm quite glad in that regard. Not because I'm very proud of the lower half of my face. It's because when my face is already fully bare, people already remember me for my eyes.
Yes.
Right? They don't give a fuck about the rest of my face. They just remember the eyes. So with mask, right, I'm just like two walking eyeballs on a body.
Yeah.
I can imagine that's what people think. Yeah.
Staring,
Yeah, at least
staring, and then the eyebrows
the
furrowing.
And then it's my two huge eyes. And if I try and keep it smaller, I look sleepy. So it's really it's a lose-lose. So now at least when I take off the mask, whatever people think of the lower half of my face, at least I can say, yo, there's more than these two eyeballs.
Yeah, so it's it's gonna be an adjustment in your in how you look at people and assess how they look on their face.
But are you looking forward to looking at people without masks?
There was a bit of fun behind that mystery, I think. How does this person actually look in real life and everything? And then when they take off the mask to eat, they, oh my god, that's totally different. Yeah. So it'll be I mean, I enjoyed it the last couple of years of that slight mystery. And also the fact that the fact that when you see, let's say you see someone in public that you kind of know, an acquaintance, and you don't want to do the whole stop and chat dance. Hey, you don't want to do the let's meet up for coffee thing. Correct. Much easier with a mask, because if you miss them, even if you eye contact with them, but you don't, you can pretend that you don't figure out who they are, right? You don't give them that look of recognition that you must do the stop and chat, or you can just basically, like, because your mask is there, you just need to avert your eyes and then you're fine already. Yeah. Then you can really siam the having to do the stop and chat So I think that aspect of it I will miss
Yeah, and I'm like, you're like singing to a song, or like I mean, even talking on the phone, right? I used to, like, I'll tuck in the mic of my earpiece in under the mic, so it feels like it's a very intimate conversation. Because you use wireless, right? I use the wired one. So then it sits very nicely in the mask. So all that kind of thing. But I am going to look forward to people not having masks, just so can see expressions. Because just the eyes, don't know, it feels like there's not as much diversity of people to just look at. Not as a creep. But just, just more interesting to people watch.
Yeah. I mean, one of the big things for me is that the Early Childhood Development Authority of Singapore, I think they are loosening the regulations in preschools and everything for kids, because when kids can't see your whole face, it's very hard for them to learn whether a person is friendly or smiling or frowning and everything. And it's also hard for them to learn pronunciation of words and new letters and all that. So in that aspect, I think especially for early childhood development, it's very important that they're allowed to be able to see the teachers' faces and all.
But then, one question also is on planes, because I believe the rule is it will depend on whether your arrival country is going to require the mask wearing.
Correct, right? Yeah.
So, like, you brought up the early childhood for the child. How are you going to think about your kid when he goes to school, or like I don't know, like how are you going to manage it? Because imagine if you're on a plane and you have some people wearing masks, and some people who don't want to wear masks because they're not mandated to lah. Confirm will be some tensions there. Confirm.
Yeah. No, right. I mean it's. So you're asking me about my kid, or you're asking about airplane?
I mean your kid first, but also I know you're not going to be traveling soon because you have your second kid coming. But if you had to travel with your kid, and you see other people not wearing masks, like would you feel anything, or you'll be like, okay, like this is the world we live in?
I think it's the world we live in, man. Like, if you are in a plane, it's almost inevitable you will be up close with people, lah. And if there's, I mean, you can't force people to wear a mask, you know. You kind of just, you just got to look out for yourself, lor. Like even when I traveled not too long ago, a month or two ago, I was just, you know, you are sitting side by side with someone, and you just have to be conscientious,
Then your kids, like daycare and all, like do the kids wear masks?
No. Below 2, you're not required to. So in playgroup they don't wear masks, but the teachers all have to wear masks, and that's the part I find difficult, because it's hard enough to. It's hard enough for them to really understand what the teacher is saying, and without that visual, the visual clues using how through their mouth movements is even harder.
So for them, this announcement must be huge, lah.
It's huge. Then plus the fact that
huge.
I think they're allowing visits to schools again. So like let's say it's your kid's birthday or something like that. You can accompany. Apparently they say you can accompany the kid lah for the birthday party. So that's something that I think parents the COVID parents lah, who send their kids to schools and all that haven't been able to enjoy that much, you know. It's really like I really felt like sending my kid to even playgroup felt like I was just putting him into this black box. You really don't know what is happening. I mean, obviously there are updates from the school, you know, apps and stuff like that. But the fact that you're not allowed to just even sit in for a day for his birthday party or something, you kind of feel very removed from that aspect of his life, like he's institutionalized.
This is the birthday party that the school throws.
No. So there's a thing where if it's your kid's birthday, the parents generally prepare like gifts, small like gifts for everybody in his class lah, and then maybe a cake, and then the kids cut the cake, and then they all go home with a little gift. So like every couple of weeks or something, you know, my kid will suddenly come home with one goodie bag of toys and all that, and it's somebody's birthday in school. So last time I think the parents will be allowed to join in as well at least for the celebration, you know. But that hasn't happened in 2 years, so you feel very removed from the school's activities and celebrations for your kids.
So that's not a school mandate. That's more like an informal kind of thing.
I think the Early Childhood Development Authority, which is a literal government agency.
Yeah.
They are the ones who mandate these issues.
No, I'm talking about the birthday thing.
Oh no, yeah. So I think it's as in they just call it under visitors to the school, visitors to the
No,
school,
I'm saying the practice of the parent like doing stuff for the kid's birthday.
Oh, it's an informal.
I don't give a fuck about the regulations.
Who like this is not North Korea where we're forced to celebrate birthday parties. It's your kid's birthday party, you have to prepare a birthday cake.
Does any parent not celebrate the kid's birthday?
Of course. I mean, it's totally a choice of yours whether you want to do it. But it's just like, I mean, this is your kid's his first group of friends that he'll ever have in his life, right? So you want to encourage them to appreciate birthdays, to always tell other people when it's your birthday. Don't be the Grinch who, you know, doesn't celebrate your birthday and then says like, it's just my own thing, I don't want to tell people, and then you spend a whole day with your colleagues, then you don't tell them that it's your birthday.
For those of you who are listening maybe for the first time, as you can tell in the weight of Terrence's voice, he has a lot of angst towards someone who behaved like how he just described, like, and that someone is none other than me.
Yourself, yes.
And
but you also have changed over the years, right?
Over I've started to appreciate birthdays more when you're older because it does bring people together. But I do find it like when like people like have like, oh, you know, I'm throwing a birthday party, I mean, for themselves, that always I'm like, I don't know, like I still haven't gotten used to it. Like if other people are throwing it for you, that's one thing. But if you are telling me that, oh, come for the birthday party that I'm organizing for myself, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's still something I'm like, okay. And I guess once I have a kid in future, the concept of birthdays will take on a new meaning. Like, because when I was young, birthdays was not the biggest affair. And this one, even my fiance also tells me, are you crazy? So she agrees with you. But to me,
no,
I'm like,
I think if you don't mind sharing a little bit more about why when you say it's not the biggest affair, like what do you mean it's not the biggest affair?
I mean, the birthday celebrations were like, okay, maybe a cake, maybe something, get a small gift, but there was never a party. There was never a party planned.
I see.
Yeah, so it was more like, okay, this is something that happens in your life. Okay, here's a little gift.
Yeah.
People celebrate you, but I think the gathering of friends thing, maybe primary 6 once. Apart from that, it was like, it was like, okay, it's a birthday. Our family kind of small celebration. That's it. And I mean, I'm not shitting on what my parents did and all. No, I think, no, there's no right way, I think. But that shaped my perspectives on like people who throw like huge birthday parties for their 12-year-old kid. Then I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
No, I think the big switch for me, I think happened later in life also lah. When I realized like these birthday celebrations are rarely ever about yourself. It's more about like just getting people together. Even just people that you think can get along because they know you. You are the commonality between them and all that lah.
Yeah.
So there's no harm in the fact that the excuse is that it's a happy occasion and let's all come together and just have some drinks and food lah.
No.
So that to me, like I think after that switch occurred, I realized, okay, I mean, there's no reason for me to keep my birthday a secret lah, unless I really don't want to hang out with the people that I'm with that day lah, right?
Yeah. So there's one thing about not keeping it secret. I mean, actively hiding it versus like actively telling. I think the best thing is, you have it on your public profile. I think you were talking about those days when I would hide it on my Facebook lah. Right, I would hide it on my Facebook.
No, the worst part was that I would be next to you the whole fucking day in an office or on a shoot or something like that, and it's your birthday. And then after that, like I only discover it through some, I don't know, Facebook or CPF, doing CPF submission or something like that. And then I'm like, what the fuck? It's like you just pranked all of us by not telling us your birthday.
Dude,
that made me furious, man.
In my mind, I'm like, why the fuck are you getting so angry? I didn't tell you so you don't have to feel obligated to do anything. So blah blah. Then
go and talk to your fiance. So I'll say go and talk to your fiance because is how you.
The thing about bringing people together, I still remember there was this one during uni, right? One of my hallmates, she organized a birthday party for herself. And what I really didn't like about that, she chose the fucking restaurant. And students, you don't have like the best income. Then we go there, fucking party. Then like in my mind, like there was a corner of my table where we're like, wait, are we gonna split the bill equally? And we have to split it equally. So we all ordered like just simple dishes, whereas some people ordering alcohol and shit, and the bill came out fucking expensive. And like, yo man, I'm not even that close to you. You fucking chose the restaurant. So I don't like shit like that. Now maybe when you're older, okay lah. It's not.
I think it's still important that they set the boundaries upfront about whether you need to pay for your own meal when you come and everything lah.
Yeah.
Because even like planning kids' birthday party, we will tell very upfront, oh, there's food and whatever provided, and don't come, don't worry about bringing food or anything like that. I think that's like common courtesy lah. Really.
Yeah, I mean, if it's your close circle of friends, then but this one was the hall of 20, 30 of us. Then we're like, okay, go. Then by the end, there were a bunch of us that were then pissed off lah.
Yeah.
Then I think we just went back to the hall and got drunk.
I guess you don't talk to that particular friend.
No.
Anymore.
I mean, she wasn't super close. Also, she's based in the US, so kind of lost touch. Okay. But yeah, but now, birthdays
we got
a bit lah.
We're talking about this because I mean, even birthday celebrations, like now, like photo taking and all that. Finally, everyone there'll be no more like, oh, should I mask on, mask off? That kind
now
of
it's like off. Take it off.
Just take
take it off.
Yam sing, just whack the yam sing and everything already lah.
Yeah, especially like the event we were at earlier this week. If there was no requirement for mask indoors, it would have a very different feel lah.
You think so? Why?
I think so. Just because it feels more personable. Like looking at the photos and just walking around, it just feels like how you say it's just less personable. I think covering half your face makes it less personable. And even when I look back at photos of events or courses that we have done or things or like our show, the stand-up show, looking at the audience and it's just masked, it has a very different feel. And I think for live performers also, right? For live performers, being able to see the full face of your audience is going to be fucking huge, man.
Yeah, and even people who are giving talks or courses or anything like that. I remember one time we were giving a course. I nearly fainted on while giving a presentation because we were forced to do it with a mask on. It was kind of warm inside the room and everything. Then I think just that the talking and getting excited, then after that breathing back in your carbon dioxide and everything, I just started getting lightheaded by the end of that 10 minutes. And it was it wasn't the best look also because I looked like I was about to collapse. I was sweating and all that.
I remember that. I remember after you stopped talking, you sat down, you just went for a run like that.
So I mean, none of this, because it's been quite inconsistent. A lot of the things that we've done, whether about people on stage have to wear masks or not as well, right? Yeah.
So, right. And I mean, of course, there's also the timing. I mean, next month is F1, and granted, F1 is going to be outdoors. There will be some indoor stuff as well. And I think towards the end of the year, where there are going to be more events, and even around F1, I think I saw there's an uptick in the conferences and events planned. There's like 25 big events planned around F1. So it kind of makes sense, lah. It kind of makes sense. So, but that being said, in the for the MMTF press conference, they also did say that towards the end of the year, they do expect like an uptick, because there's the winter, there's the western winter, which generally is more conducive for flus and colds. And then they also said that 70% of Singaporeans have gotten COVID. So there's still a bunch of people who haven't gotten. My only issue is like the term they use for these people who haven't gotten COVID yet. Do you know what the term is?
Which is what? What's the
COVID
term?
Naive. Why? It makes it sound like these people who have never gotten COVID, they're walking around like these clueless fucks who don't know what's going on. Like, oh, what's COVID? Oh my God, I'm so naive. Choose a better word, lah.
It's interesting that you bring that up. I think the idea is to make it that a bit negative, negative connotations are basically
that you haven't gotten COVID.
That you haven't gotten COVID, lah.
Like if you haven't gotten vaccination, then I can understand. But if you haven't gotten COVID, why not COVID strong? Or like the COVID fighters. These COVID fighters.
No, but then it will breed complacency as well. Because remember at one point there was this very big discussion about vaccination versus non-vaccination in the US, right?
Yeah.
And I think on social media, the people who refused to get vaccinated, they were starting to label themselves pure bloods.
Oh, yeah.
So you just think about the connotation, I'm a pure blood and you are not a pure blood. That kind of thing. It can make people, especially those who are on the fence about it, can make them like second guess their decisions about getting the vaccine. So I think in some way when they say COVID naive, they just maybe they don't want to make it sound too positive that you haven't got COVID yet, such that you will, run out and just do whatever the hell you want, thinking that you're stronger than everyone else.
Okay, so it might also be a medical term. I'm not sure because when
really?
I Google COVID naive, when I Google COVID naive, a lot of things are Singapore. But then also in like journals.plos.org, which is scientific publications, they say vaccine naive lah.
Okay.
I don't know whether Singapore is the only one. Singapore is the only one that kind of is used. I don't think so lah. But it just feels like COVID naive.
Is there any better, more? I mean, not don't say COVID strong lah. I think that one is too
not
positive.
COVID strong lah.
Yeah.
COVID neutral. COVID virgins. COVID virgins.
No, then the religious people will not like that. You make them. When you say COVID virgin, it makes them sound like they are missing out on something like that lah. Wow, this week we talk about 377A. You dare to bring up this virginity issue. We live in a world where a man went to Spain and got monkeypox and COVID and HIV all at the same time. And here you are making jokes about virginity.
No, it's COVID. You use the term virgin in some other context also. If you haven't done something, Isn't that? It's not just used for sex, right? What other terms is there virgin inside?
It's mostly referencing, mostly referencing sex lah. Yeah, and other terms they use that connotation of sex to.
No, I believe there are other phrases with the word virgin. But I can see people saying
even I can't even pronounce analogy properly. I was going to say analogy or something.
Get your mind out of the gutter, lah. Okay, get your mind out of the gutter. Yeah. No, I mean, because then, okay, I can see a lot of memes like, I just got fucked by COVID. I'm not a COVID virgin anymore.
So, but maybe maybe in some way that is the message. Try your best not to get COVID because it can fuck with you, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, okay, so virgin territory, right? Virgin territory. That is land that has never been explored or developed, right? So, but I know you can never imagine like Aung Yi Kang saying, for those COVID virgins out there, please make sure you get vaccinated and your second booster.
And always be protected lah, so that you're always protected.
Correct. Use protection.
Always make sure you have protection. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I think we can keep going down that rabbit hole.
Correct.
But
exactly.
Yes, that's our suggestion to the MMTF lah.
Yeah, COVID naive, Just iterate or give some other options.
Yeah. Correct.
But yeah, cool.
Yes. Interesting that we're speaking about the idea of young people and how they might be slightly naive in ways they do things. Because actually that's our second topic of the day as well, right? And who is this young person in question?
It is a secondary school student at St. Andrews Secondary School who was in a video that went viral middle of this week, like yesterday. August 20th, August 24th, Wednesday, which showed the boy kind of confronting his teacher, a male teacher, a male student, and very heated lah. And the student ultimately said stuff like, I will end your life now, shut your mouth, bitch.
Yeah.
So you watch the video. I mean, since then, the school has responded that the student has been disciplined, and they have met with the parents, and they are encouraging parents to counsel him. But so there was a lot of chatter. But
I mean, even in Malaysia, man, I think it became an article on the Star as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so it's gone international.
But when you saw the video, like it's not just that phrase. It was like a minute long maybe, and at some point he inches close to the teacher, and the teacher says, "Don't touch me, don't use the F word." And the boy is just laughing and like, "Oh, I want you to walk. You walk now. You leave the class. You walk now." So I mean, when you watched it, like what were your thoughts?
My thoughts were that actually this kind of thing happened. I mean, last time also it happened, during my time in school. This kind of thing is not completely unheard of lah. So my only thought was that it's lucky that they did not come to blows, because that would have gone absolutely bonkers viral. And probably the kid and maybe even the teacher or what, they will have to deal with the social media fallout of it lah. Because I remember as a student last time, there were not say confrontations but there were exchanges that almost practically became physical lah between teacher and student in school. But it's just that last time we didn't have social media to record it and put it online and all,
But do you remember to what extent how bad it got?
I just remember there was once we had a teacher who, he was a very nice guy, and then he started off as a relief teacher, then after that became a full-time teacher and all, but I think he was just way too nice to handle some of the personalities in my class lah. So I mean, besides disrupting the class by making fun of him, I think at some point someone like one of the kids just like went up to him and like just smacked him on the back. Like, how you would smack someone on the back very hard and then they'd be... Yeah, I mean, it's not... You're not punching them or anything, but it's still painful, right? And I think... I just remember the teacher, he couldn't take it. He was like... You could tell that he probably wanted to explode and fight back, and everything in his fiber... Really? Yeah, was like he wanted to explode, but he knew he had to hold it in, and he just like sort of just laid his head down on the table and just cried for like 5 minutes.
Oh, is it? In front of the students?
Yeah, in front of the students, in front of all of us, in the classroom.
What the fuck?
And being like, 15 or 16 at the point of time, you're like, you're wondering how to react when you see an adult who is meant to be an authority break down and cry in front of you, lah. And so I was seeing instances of that here, like this teacher or member of the staff. You could tell every fiber of his being wanted to smack or discipline the child, lah. But he just had to hold it back and basically just like try to reason with the child, but he was shouting, lah, obviously, and he was obviously finding it hard to control his own emotions already, lah. So I empathize with that aspect a lot. It's hard, lah. It's hard to especially when you're dealing with youth like that, lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was damn painful watching it because for the teacher, lah. Like it's almost he can't back down, right? Because when the student says you walk, you walk. If he walks, it's like lah, the student won. But at the same time, you're in a shouting match with someone who clearly enjoys you getting flustered and angered. Yeah. Wow, watching it is like, oh fuck, man. Like I mean, it looks bad on the school, but I mean, last time I can imagine, like, what happened to your friend who did that to your teacher?
Nothing.
Oh, nothing.
No repercussions. Nothing. Yeah. I mean, it was like although you and I, we went to RI, right? It's public knowledge.
Yeah.
But I was always in the worst class in RI, lah. The one with like all the jocks and people who got in because of sporting connections and all things like that, lah. So yeah, lah. I mean, I saw a lot of I wouldn't say unruly, lah, but definitely a bit more jockey kind of behavior.
No wonder you got a thing against jocks,
No. I mean, a lot of them also my friends. They ended up my friends. But I think it's just that kind of culture. That is the culture that I don't like, lah. Individually, I think they're all really nice. But it's that culture when they come together as a group and they think they can get away with things because there's certain status in the school and all that. That's the part I think a lot of them, they weren't thinking properly about it as individuals, lah. Yeah. But yeah, so nothing happened to them. Nothing happened to them.
But then, because in this case, like there's rising comments that I hear from friends or cousins who are parents about how now, and from people who are teachers, like it's almost there are some parents who kind of outsource the discipline to teachers, right? And this one is based on what I hear from teachers who are working teachers, and that one feels like, wow, fuck, like already their jobs are so hard, they're so important, they're so hard, they're so overworked, and then to deal with this kind of stuff, walao eh.
I mean, do you think how do you think you would have reacted when the kid starts coming up to you like that? Not saying as you are now, not as a teacher and everything. How would you react? Let's say in public, student, obviously someone very young in his teenager years, like maybe something like you bump to each other while walking outside MRT or then he comes and then like, I will end you now, that kind of statement.
I mean, like I would hope that like before it even escalates, I would just walk off, lah. Because those sort of things, I can't see one person winning. And if you're talking to a teenage kid, you also don't want to punch the guy or something, right? So just walk off. If it's in a school setting, I assume that there will be some punishment that can be meted out. So don't engage, lah. Don't engage. That's what my approach would be, lah.
Would you shout back as well?
I don't think I would raise my voice. Because if it goes into you trying to match the person's like raising that and competing on that, right? Then it almost feels like how is that going to end? Like it's going to be tough and like it's going to just be a escalation until who knows what the fuck can happen, lah.
Yeah. Well, I think as an adult, I've that's the realization I've come to. Like whether you are engaged in an argument with a road bully, or someone who's just abusive to you in public for whatever reason, raising your voice at them, it makes the two of you look complicit in the whole ruckus, lah.
Yeah.
And whereas if you maintain your cool and you speak at normal volume, you can stand your ground or whatever. But don't raise your voice, don't lose your temper, because the overall image of you will just look as bad as the person who's raising their voice, lah.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at this, it's a grown man shouting at a kid, which doesn't paint the situation accurately, but it just feels like, oh fuck, in those sort of situations, And I don't expect like anyone to. I mean, it's easy to say when you're not in that moment. But the whole thing about conflict de-escalation, I saw one Reddit comment that was quite interesting. I think from a trained counselor or something. They were saying in those sort of things, the best thing you can do is you break the momentum lah. And I think we have spoken about it before, or where if things are escalating, what he could have done is turn to the
Step away,
students, just make a joke or something, and then come back to this student. And I think there is one,
or even just say, you're not in the right frame of mind, and just I'll talk to you later or something like that, lah. Right?
Yeah. Exactly. But yes, there are ways like it's just that in that moment when emotions are charged, somewhere you have all the students there, and as a teacher, you're kind of the person of authority. Walao, you watch it, you're like, oh fuck, that sucks, man. That sucks.
Looks bad on both the student and the teacher or member of staff, lah. Right?
Yeah.
So but I really do empathize with the teacher, lah, in the sense that if you, the very least you got to give the teacher that he didn't
Punch the guy.
use any didn't strike back or use any like vulgarities on him. He was just basically warning the student, don't touch me, don't use these words against me and all that. He shouted, I guess, but like emotions are probably really high at that point.
Yeah. Then some more, like if this happens again in future, they won't be wearing masks. Then there's even more expressions there. It feels like it's going to make the escalation even worse, lah.
Yeah. Plus the fact, maybe, I don't know, the teacher's pay raise is coming soon as well.
Correct.
So I don't know whether he's happy about it or what, but maybe even more emotions in place.
So just watching it, you're like, wow. And that's why the school, I don't know what more they can say, but I hope they also give a bit more detail, because it feels like, okay, discipline, but don't know, like, and the worst thing about social media, right? Like, if other people see it, then suddenly it becomes the norm. Then what? Like teachers, they need to be sent for what? Like skills future for self-defense. Self-defense.
I mean, they probably already have to. They really probably have to do some basic like self-defense kind of thing already.
Yeah, self-defense, conflict de-escalation.
In the US,
crazy.
In the US, they have to do like school shooting drills. In case school shooters come in, and what do you do? Lock the door, hide in the table, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So obviously in Singapore, we thankfully don't have that problem. But teachers really need to be. They almost have to be ready for any kind of circumstance.
Yeah, exactly. Then probably like some sort of medical training also, right? In case some shit happens.
Sure. Yeah. But what do you think will be the best? If you had to give teachers some martial arts classes to defend themselves, which one do you think is the most effective?
Oh, which one?
I mean, I think something like jiu-jitsu would be great.
Oh, I thought you would say Krav Maga.
No, Krav Maga is like you got to Krav Maga. A lot of it is like they want you to whack the person and then run off. But as a teacher, you can't do that. Right? You can't whack the kid and then run off, right? Where you gonna run to? Like the principal's office. You can't like you have to deal with the situation there. If anything, like I feel like something that teaches you how to suppress the person and hold them in place until they calm down. Then that might be more helpful. That's why I thought like jiu-jitsu would be good.
Oh, and I mean, for context, Krav Maga is the martial arts of the Israeli Defense Force, right?
I believe, I believe it was conceived of that,
Yeah. So,
but a lot of Krav Maga training, it still requires you to punch and everything,
Yeah, I guess jiu-jitsu probably the best, because it's not about like striking, It's about taking down and putting into arm like locks and holds,
to suppress the person, right? Yeah.
Oh,
so
jiu-jitsu.
It's a bit safer. You don't like give the person a concussion or anything, right?
Then what would be the worst martial art?
I mean, like kickboxing, probably. That's the last thing you want to give, like officially teach teachers, right?
No, or like or like is sumo wrestling a martial art? No, right?
No, I don't think it's considered martial arts. But now you say maybe sumo also good. It's sort of like you just push the person.
You just push.
Yeah, or you use the momentum to let them fall down on the floor, right?
That's Aikido, right? That's Aikido, I think.
Yeah. The same principles, I suppose.
Yeah, actually, I think sumo wrestling is a martial art. It's a wrestling sport, and I can imagine it. I mean, because it's like historical, right? It feels like it have to be a martial art.
Yeah. But I can't imagine trying to a bunch of teachers wearing the sumo gear and then practicing as part of a skills future course. Practicing sumo as part of a skills future course. Like, I don't know how our taxpayer dollars will be justified in that way. But Chan Chun Sing will have to give a very long press conference about why teachers are doing sumo classes.
And why sumo wrestling? Why sumo wrestling?
Yeah.
And but sumo wrestling is also very male dominated, right? So then the women need another sport lah.
That's another sport. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so Chan Chun Sing, you got to get on that stuff, man. Get on that stuff.
Yeah. That's right. But
man,
yes,
cool, man.
It's a crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of the world we live in,
yes.
we talk about one Shiok comments in the world of Yala But that have come up recently.
Yeah.
Do you have a one Shiok comment?
I have one, and it was posted a day ago, which made me lol, laugh out loud. It was by Majestic Economist. The Reddit comment was like, the title of the post was, "I will never forgive Yala But," and the text is, "For putting the image of Lee Hsien Loong doing body shots on Ho Ching in my mind, I am traumatized for life." Fucking hell, that made me laugh, man.
Yeah.
And that was something that that just came up in the previous podcast, I believe, when Terence was sharing his experience years ago where he was eating at Beauty in the Pot and saw Lee Hsien Loong, PM Lee and Ho Ching in the background.
Yeah. And we talked about them. Like, we talked about how nobody was taking videos of them. We said that if they were doing body shots, we would take videos of them, for sure.
Body shots.
Yeah.
And then someone showed a gif of an actual body shot. It's basically where you pour something into the belly button of someone and you slurp it up. Body shots.
Yeah.
But
probably a bad idea to do it at a hot pot restaurant though, because you're gonna lie down on the table and everything.
But the commenter did go on to say, "But jokes aside, thanks for making us laugh so much in the midst of such serious issues in Singapore. Humor helps us get through this difficult and controversial time. So you are more than welcome, man."
Yeah.
Cool. And what about you?
I guess kind of related. Su Din, made a comment on our last podcast, 321. And apparently this is a topic that's been bugging Sudin for a long time. I'm wondering why both Terence and Harish pronounce divisive as divisive as opposed to divisive. I don't usually hear the word being pronounced that way, and it sounds jarring to my admittedly untrained ear. Is it because they now adopt the pronunciation from the word division? It would be interesting to know how they got down to that pronunciation. And then, he provides links of how a lot. The seems like the Webster's, the dictionary's pronunciations is divisive, but we always say divisive. Divisive. Why so, Harish? Why do you say divisive?
Why? I actually think I used to say divisive, but for some reason it has evolved to divisive. I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But for you?
For me, it's I think generally over the years, and after learning a new language, a new Romance language when I was in my 20s, and seeing how like the interplay of words and language and culture and everything over time, everything just sort of is this big mishmash that just keeps evolving, and there's no like one authority that says this is the absolute correct way to pronounce something, right? And it's really a product of what is the dominant culture, and let's say for example, because I learned French in my 20s, and when you learn a language in your later years, you actually see you're actually trying to fit it into the schema of your other languages that you know already, like English, or for me Mandarin as well, right? And then I realized a lot of French words and English words had a lot of the similar roots, right? And the pronunciation of a word like niche, in French it's obviously niche, right? But in English you hear some people saying niche. It's a niche. It's a niche.
Yeah.
But to me it's like, okay, but the word, as far as I know, the origination was from Latin, and it makes the most sense to me when it's pronounced niche from the French pronunciation. But people insist on pronouncing niche, like literally reading it as an English word as well. So I keep the realization that a lot of words are, it's just, how people decide they want to pronounce it, and they think that their culture is dominant. compared to another culture and everything. So I actually don't begrudge someone pronouncing a word differently, or saying that all this unless there is a problem with unless there's a problem with comprehension.
Hypocritical statement ever
no.
in the
Before you
history of
interrupt me,
Yalabat.
before you interrupt further, unless there is a problem with comprehension. Question is, when it comes to omelette and omelette, there is a problem with comprehension because those are two differently spelled words when you pronounce it like that. Whereas you can say divisive, you can say divisive, you can say division, and you can say divide and division. So those are both acceptable pronunciations of the root divi, or d and the d and the vi and whatever. But omelette is an omelette. Omelette and omelette is different. Let's be very clear.
My
it's
mother
a
would disagree.
Issue.
My mother would disagree completely.
Yeah. You see, this is probably Harish, in the Tilani family, we know that there are certain practices
Don't play family. Don't play
the
family.
Birthday celebrations, the birthday celebrations and omelette. So okay, fine. That's now that we know that that's how your boat floats. Okay, fine. Yeah. We accept it lah. But I'm just saying, if you're expecting everyone outside, first time listening to this podcast, who are wondering what the hell is this top 50 podcast on Apple Podcast, let me give it a try. And then they don't know what an omelette is. You can't blame them. And then they go on already, and then they say, why is he pronouncing
what the fuck is an omelette?
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
an omelette?
You can't blame them. Because nobody in history has ever pronounced omelette as omelette, except in your family.
Yeah, maybe the whole lineage of Tilanis, going back hundreds of years, everyone grew up with the saying of omelette. Maybe the whole the Sindhi people in Sindh, which is now part in Pakistan, maybe they all say omelette. Maybe they all say omelette.
The tyranny of the Tilani family.
No
birthdays, no birthday. Don't tell anyone your birthday, and don't pronounce.
Don't play family, Terrence. You pushing it a bit. Don't play family, okay?
No. I mean, this is literally. I'm trying to explain why I don't get. I mean, I last time I think in the past I was also like, it has to be pronounced. But over time, I've become a bit more divisive.
But
as long as I understand,
Sudin did also say that our way of pronouncing is clearly making inroads in recent years, at least in American English. But the default pronunciation in Cambridge Dictionary is still the former for both American and British English. Maybe we should, instead of saying divisive, we can combine both. We say divisive.
Divisive. Just don't say the I. Divisive.
But yeah. Cool, man.
But
hopefully,
cool.
Sudin did I think we will continue to say divisive. Just hopefully the jarringness kind of decreases over time.
Yeah, but I feel divisive flows easier for me. Yeah.
Actually, when I think about it, I would say divisive rolls off, but I tend to say divisive.
Oh, really? Oh, okay,
I think maybe it's divide. Maybe because I say division more than divide.
Divide. Yeah.
So it just.
So maybe that's you need to keep a log of how often you say divide and division.
I think it's correlated. Yeah, I think it's correlated.
Yeah. It's correlated lah. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
But yes. That's a
cool,
interesting breakdown of a one Shiok comment.
Yeah. And now on to the one Shiok thing. Would you like to go first?
I think my one Shiok thing is something that came up last night when I was just scrolling social media and got me really excited. Is that the latest guest on Joe Rogan Experience is Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg himself. So I haven't even heard the podcast. I've just heard a snippet, but I think it's really crazy. I mean, Joe Rogan's podcast has always been about, finding the human side of a person like Elon Musk or even like politicians and all that. So it's quite a big deal, and someone who is so I would say someone so protective of his narrative, and then at certain points almost seems like a robot when he talks. He's on Joe Rogan's podcast for I don't know what 2 hours or something like that. So it's I'm looking forward to listening to it lah.
Yeah.
But the comments were damn funny when the clips were uploaded initially, because they were like, "Congrats to Joe Rogan for conducting the first ever interview with an AI." He's ahead of the curve, First time he made an AI look human.
Yeah, I'm also super looking forward to it because I think it might be one like the podcast he did with Elon Musk. You know where after the interview you can tell that this Elon Musk is not a normal person lah.
He's not. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can imagine that anyone will come off this podcast thinking like, okay, there's something about Mark Zuckerberg, not a bad thing. There's just something he's just different lah. He's just different.
Yeah. Yeah. And just
Right.
seeing like how he thinks in a long form conversation style rather than like being questioned by senators or his very cringy videos about the metaverse and all that lah, right?
Wow, but Joe Rogan talking to Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn.
But it also tells you that probably Meta is trying to humanize the image of the company a bit more. The fact that they will allow Mark Zuckerberg, that their PR team will allow Mark Zuckerberg to go on Joe Rogan's podcast. Because I mean, Joe Rogan is not without controversy either, right? He also can be quite a polarizing figure on social media and all. Yeah.
And also because I think every big social media platform now is trying to become the next podcast platform. Apparently, even YouTube, more people listen to podcasts on YouTube than listen to podcasts on Spotify lah.
Yeah, which is Facebook, why you can find Yalabat on YouTube as well. Full audio episodes.
And we recently crossed how many subscribers?
I think 700. I think
700.
Close to 700.
Okay. Growing, and growing. Cool.
And what is your one Shiok thing?
My one Shiok thing is this article that I came across that was actually written in 2019, but it is a good early morning read lah. It's called The Happiness Ruse. How did feeling good become a matter of relentless competitive work, a never to be attained goal which makes us miserable? But basically, it's an essay that just talks about the current situation where it's almost like everyone is striving to be happy all the time, and how that is not healthy lah. Because it's almost like if you feel sad, you need to be helped. You need there's something wrong with you. But what this essay kind of explores is that no, it's important to feel sad. It's important to feel, have some negative emotions for a bunch of reasons. And it goes into that. And I was reading it this morning actually, and I was like, oh shit, this is a good article. And it's kind of like in line with that other, one of the main takeaways I took from the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which is that if you are looking for a life that has no shit to deal with, that's very unrealistic lah. Everyone has shit in their life. It's just finding the shit that you are okay with dealing with lah. So yeah, it's just
life is nothing without a struggle lah.
Yeah, exactly. You need some struggle in your life, man. It's just finding which struggle matters the most lah.
Yeah, correct. And making sure that you can live through that struggle lah.
Yeah, you can live through the struggle. So I thought it was a nice article, and even though it was written 3 years ago,
who wrote this
it was
article?
Written by Cody Dilistrati, who is a writer and historian based in New York and Paris. And he has been featured on New York Times, New Yorker, The Atlantic, amongst others.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Cool. Links in the show notes.
Yep. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
All right. Bye.